from Twitch.tv, it's Vtuber Talk. This week our guest is Shirara. It's all about to begin on Vtuber Talk. Hello and welcome to Vtuber Talk. I'm your host Jay and thank you so much for joining us this evening. For those of you who haven't been here before, Vtuber Talk is designed after classic late-night talk shows. Everything here is live, casual, and the goal is to simply have fun conversations that will entertain people who are already familiar with the guest, as well as being accessible for new fans. That's my long way of saying I hope that anyone can tune in and have a good time. Another week. One of the nice things about having my shows on Friday or Saturday is that it's always given me something to look forward to near the end of the week. I've really enjoyed it. This is my 11th episode, no intentions of stopping, and you know, it's nice to just get into the groove of things. I've done live production before, and a lot of the things I've done are one-offs. And it's, you know, just as soon as I get used to working a given show or a convention or whatever, that it's over. And there's definitely fun in premiering things or doing a new show, a new location, a new gig. But it's also nice to have that sense of regularity and iteration and see things, you know, grow little by little, hopefully. I know that I still have a long way to go. I, every week, realize just how limiting my own hardware is, my own software is, and I hope to continue growing, and I hope that people will continue to support me. I hope that, at least so far, I like to think I've been doing a alright job, and hopefully people will enjoy tonight as much as all the previous shows. In terms of growth for VTubing itself, there was some really cool news this week, where Nanners announced that she will be doing a concert along with Kizune Ai, which is just incredibly exciting for the VShoujo fandom, for Nanners in particular. It's so strange. In a lot of ways, it's kind of like seeing the next generation, because obviously Kizune Ai is where VTubers as a whole really draw their point of origin to. So to see someone else be able to really perform alongside her like this is definitely exciting, and it speaks to the growth of the community as a whole. I definitely wish her and everyone else at VShoujo just the utmost congratulations, and I know she's going to be great. And I look forward to seeing other people I look forward to seeing other people in the community continue to grow as well. Maybe it isn't going to necessarily be something as big and splashy as performing alongside Kizune Ai, but I think that everyone here has been trying their best, growing in their own way, and it's really exciting to see. So, to all of you who are VTubers out there, keep up the amazing work. To all of you who are content creators out there, keep doing what you do, and I look forward to seeing all of us grow together. Well, I think that's enough of me rambling and being a little bit sentimental. So, I hope you all welcome my guest for this evening. She is a Oni VTuber who loves to eat dumplings. She got kicked out of the yokai realm because she kept absconding away here to eat them. She is Shirara. Shirara, thank you so much for being here with me this evening.
Hello.
Hello.
Hopefully everybody can hear me.
Hopefully, folks in the chat, please let me know. Hopefully, I have the BGM and Shirara herself set on good levels. And, yeah. Goodness, so, Shirara, I have you on a bit of a busy day, because you just finished up a 5-hour Monster Hunter Rise stream, because release day for that, at least for those of you watching here in the live chat. So, a lot of streamers were playing that today, and you were as well.
Yes, 5 hours. It was supposed to be another hour, but I had audio issues, so I had to cut it a little bit short, but it was a lot of fun. It was really a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it.
Awesome. So, I'm sure a lot of people in the audience tonight are already familiar with you, but for those who aren't, please let us know a bit about you. That can be your lore, the type of content you do most often, anything you think it is important when getting to know Shirara.
Yeah, I'm Shirara. I am a Oni hybrid VTuber. I like to eat dumplings, and I am a variety streamer. I'm an artist, an illustrator, a singer and a self-producer. I do a lot of things. I also play games, all kinds of games. My art streams tend to be the most popular, but yeah. Yeah, so I just do all sorts of stuff and just try to show what I'm good at.
And in terms of art, you did your own model, correct?
Yes, this model I did draw myself at the beginning, 6 months ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
So has red always been a favorite color of yours, or was that one that wound up being decided along with your theme?
Yeah, I mean, I knew I wanted to be a white hair anime girl because I'm really partial to white hair. I don't know why. Um, but then I went with the theme, and the only color that suited this theme I thought was red. It's not one of my favorite colors. I mean, it is one of my favorite colors, but it's not like my number one.
It's like I'm moving your
Yeah.
frame. I realized I didn't get it quite centered, so
Oh.
Shirara is floating around. And now I believe she settled. There we go. And
There we
we'll
go.
put that in place.
Perfect.
Yes. So, yeah, you worked on this one, and I know you mentioned to me earlier that you're actually working on a second one as well.
Yes, this is kind of a complicated story, but because this was my first thing that I drew after 8 years of art hiatus, there's a lot of things I wish like a lot of regrets I have about this model, I guess. Things I should have done better or could have done better, but I didn't because I just didn't have the skill 6 months ago. So I actually commissioned another artist for another main model, which I will re-debut in a month or two. But on top of that, I'm also drawing myself a like grown-up mommy version of my model that is currently in progress on stream every week. We're just making slow progress towards it.
That's fantastic, and it's so cool that you're working on it on the stream. That I don't think I've ever actually seen a VTuber working on their own model in real time and sort of lifting the curtain of that process for the audience. So that's really neat.
Yeah, I know several. I know a couple people who have done that before. Yeah. But yeah, it is fun. It is fun to show everybody the process of how to get from a drawing and how much work gets put into it to the final product. Yeah.
About how far along is that one? Is that one that you think that you'll end up doing just a couple more streams and be done, or is it still in the earlier phases?
Oh no. The work is so long. I just finished the line art like last week. And I'm working on commissions right now, so it's kind of taking a backseat, but it'll probably be another month before it's all completed and all the layers are done and perfect for rigging. Yeah.
Awesome. Is that something that you think you might end up releasing something of a compilation when all is said and done? Because, like you said, it definitely takes a while. And have you considered potentially, getting everything put together so people might be able to see the full process if in a compressed format?
Currently not really, because my art streams are more my streams are less focused. They're more like chatting and like all about all sorts of stuff while I draw. That is one of my talents.
yeah.
I'm able to multitask really well when I do my art streams, which is something I really try to work towards. So in that case, I still feel like I'm a little bit disorganized in terms of my workflow to really compile or teach people for sure on how to make their own model. But it is great for people who to join in and look at the process and look at all the layers, no matter what step you're stepping into.
Yeah.
You're still gonna get to see a lot of that.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense. And while I suppose maybe it doesn't lend itself to the creation of a compilation terribly well, it's definitely a viewer-friendly format that you've got for yourself. That I always make a point to see a couple of streams of the VTuber before inviting them on the show. And I remember the first time I saw you, it was during one of your art streams. I can't recall what it was that you were working on at the time, but I noticed very quickly that you were very attentive to chat and that you were able to, like you said, multitask very effectively.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that is definitely my viewers do tell me that I'm really good at being attentive to chat, which, I treasure that. I try to really keep that going. Since everybody likes it so much. Yeah. Mhm.
Is that something that you've noticed yourself getting more adept at? Was it something that was challenging at the start, or maybe it just came second nature?
I feels like in terms of chat interaction, I felt like chat interaction for me was second nature because I had a pretty successful initial draw in terms of my audience 6 months ago. So I was lucky in the fact that my chat was pretty active since the beginning. So I had a lot to feed off of in terms of talking and keeping the vibe going.
Hmm.
But prior to that, I did study quite a lot about chat interaction and how to talk because I was expecting nobody to talk. I was expecting nobody to talk, especially for the first couple months. Um, yeah, and it does still come in handy because sometimes when I'm playing a really long game like today for 5 hours, the chat isn't gonna be active the whole time, right?
Yeah.
So that's when those skills kind of jump in more, and all my studying does come into play a little bit more.
Mm. I didn't realize that you'd actually, as you said, studied and put in that type of actual effort before the fact. That definitely
Mhm.
speaks to, like you said, the producer nature in you of being able to really foresee different circumstances and put yourself in a position with just knowledge and preparation to be able to handle whatever your situation ends up being.
Yes, I get really obsessive about the things I want to do. So I guess prior to me debuting, I had like 3 months of preview stage, and in that time I was working on all my assets, and I work 9 to 5. So in the morning when I would drive to work, it's like an hour and a half to drive to work.
Oh my goodness.
I'd be listening to podcasts about streamers and things that you could do to get better. Like any extra time I had was dedicated to that. So yeah, I was just really obsessive at the beginning. Still
Hey, if you're
am,
gonna
but
do it well,
exactly. The best you can.
for sure.
Hmm.
Have you found yourself, apart from art streams, because that's definitely your bread and butter, that seems to be, like
Mhm.
you said, it's your most popular and it's something that you really have week in and week out. Is there anything that you've learned about yourself, I suppose, whether it be in your style or just the types of games that you enjoy or are perhaps just most
Mhm.
adept at streaming? Because obviously there is a difference between playing a game and streaming a game. So
Mhm.
outside of art, is there anything that you've found that you're particularly good at or just particularly enjoy?
This is tough. Yeah, I think the most exciting thing about VTubing for me is I honestly was never a really hardcore gamer. I didn't really play that much of a variety of games. Because before I was more of an MMO player, and the most serious I got was like getting max level in like Final Fantasy 14 and like WoW, and I was more into those kinds of games. And some JRPGs. So when I began to stream, it really made me think about what games that I would want to play on stream. And I found that I really like random, chaotic games. So things that are really unexpected, like Katamari and King of Crab. It's relatively unknown game, but it's really popular on my stream.
So what is King
I
of Crab?
found
Because I'll,
out
I'll
that
admit
I'm
I haven't actually seen that one. I'm very familiar with Katamari though, but not King of
yeah.
Crab.
Yes, it's this free. It's free. It's free, but it's also kind of a gacha game where it's like itch.io, where you're this crab and you have to consume everybody else on the island to become king
Mmm.
and defend your position. So it's pretty fun. Yeah, it's really effortless to play. You could play it on your phone. I like playing it with my viewers. Haven't done it in a while, but really look forward to doing it again soon.
Sounds a bit
Mm.
similar to Slither.io.
Yes, yes, kind of like that. Yeah, exactly. But with crabs.
Mm. And it's kind of ironic because art streams are generally thought of as just very zen, calm,
Mhm.
relaxing, and then when you're not on that, your specialty, as you say, is chaotic.
Yep. I'm known for being having these like really chill streams and being a generally calming presence, but there's like a part of my personality I found that I was not expecting to like go from 0 to 100 with like no warning in between. So the chat seems to enjoy that. But that's definitely a new thing I discovered about myself as well.
So that's really neat that you're able to sort of tailor to both ends of that spectrum and just really fit whatever mood you're in, because I definitely know some days I'm just, feel a little bit sluggish, or that I just want something relaxing, calming. I want to be able to kick back, and sometimes, you're just wired and you have a lot of energy, and it's like, okay, I need to find some way to channel this energy.
Yeah. For sure.
So you went from MMOs and you said some JRPGs, but from what you told me, nowadays JRPGs are a lot more of your bread and butter when it comes to gaming streams.
Yes, I love exploring. I love story-based games. So JRPGs tend to be more story-driven, and I like the aesthetic of them too. Obviously, because I'm an anime girl, so I mean, of course I like anime. So, but unexpectedly, like I found a deep love for the Yakuza series, which is kind of gritty, kind of really manly, but I have so much love for that series, and I hope to play all the games sometime.
Yeah, I'll admit, I was not really familiar with the Yakuza series until Like a Dragon came out, and then it seems that a lot of my friends have been fans of the series for ages, and I never knew. So I'm still really learning about it. I still need to pick that one up. The last really proper JRPG I played was Persona 5, and I admittedly played that one about a year late.
Yeah.
My gaming habits are far behind where they used to be, which is kind of ironic given that my day job is actually working for a game developer, but then again, maybe that's why my personal gaming habits have trailed off a little bit.
Yeah, that's probably why. I mean, as we get older, there's less and less time to do those kinds of things.
Yeah. But if nothing else, watching VTubers has made it so I end up being more aware of what the more popular games are and just learning about new series. So, Yakuza Like a Dragon is definitely one I plan to pick up. Not quite sure when. It just goes on the list. Everyone has their list, and we live in a wonderful era of being a geek, where we have the embarrassment of riches. It used to be, okay, you wait for a good game to come out and you play it, and then you wait for the next good game. But nowadays, it's just, for every game you complete, 3 more go on the list. It never gets shorter, only longer.
Yep. My game list gets longer every day. I have like so much games I bought on Steam that I just can't start yet because I already started so many games on stream and I need to finish them.
Yeah, I think Steam really contributed to that sort of shift of the list, as it were, because it allowed creators to release their games on a platform, and the way they marketed everything, and with Steam sales, and I think that's really when I started noticing not just my own list, but the list of my friends starting to grow much faster than we could play through them all.
Right, for sure. That's definitely a feel.
Is there anything that's particularly high up on your personal list that all right, I need to get around to this, whether you've bought it or not, that and whether you would want to stream it or not, one that okay, I need to get around to this. I don't necessarily know when, but I know I want to.
Ooh, Nier Automata? I haven't played it yet. I have not played it yet, which is, surprising for my love of JRPGs. But I really do plan to play it as my next big JRPG game. But I just feel like there's not enough time because I'm already playing like Dragon Quest and Yakuza, and I have like 5 more Yakuza games to play or something ridiculous like that, and I haven't finished Yakuza Like a Dragon yet. You know, there's just so much.
Yeah.
There's so much I need to do.
The other one I've seen
Yeah.
you playing a fair bit is Monster Hunter.
Yes, Monster Hunter. Yes, Monster Hunter. It's not really story based. I feel like there is a story in Monster Hunter, but it's not.
Monster Hunter's story is along the lines of Pokemon story. It's there, sort of.
It's there, but the whole point is to beat up monsters and have a sense of like satisfaction that you defeated this giant monster that was really hard that you kept killing you for like the past 10 tries, you know? Yeah, I really like that. I thought I wasn't gonna be good at it, but I'm alright. I'm pretty alright at the game, I think.
Now, even if you don't necessarily see yourself as the best at Dragon Quest, I know that you have a affinity for a particular monster. Oh, and thank you, Finding Koji, for the follow. I don't know why my notification just spazzed out a bit there. For people in the chat, let me know, did it just skip around like that for me on my end, or did it skip out for you as well?
It buffered.
Yeah.
It buffered for a little bit. I watched it.
Anyways, yes, so you are a fan of slimes.
Yes, Dragon Quest slimes. I'm a huge fan of them. They're like my life. Yeah, I collect the plushies of them, and pretty obsessive over them. I have over like 50 of them.
Oh my goodness. So are these all different colors? I assume there's different sizes.
Yeah, all of the above. So different colors, sizes, kinds, everything. Just like there's so many different slimes. There's like the same slime but this time with a hat on, and like I have to buy the same like that because it just has the hat on. I have like wind chimes from the like exclusive stuff from the cafes in Japan. Like it's just an obsessive thing.
Do you recall the first time that you saw slimes, or when you really just sort of realized that you liked them so much? Or is there a story behind it, or is it just for as long as...
I always knew they existed. I just never really like super got into them until one time I was playing Toreba, which is like this phone game like where you are remotely controlling like a claw machine in Japan.
Oh,
and
yes,
I caught this huge giant green slime. And it actually showed up on my doorstep like a month later, and I found it to be like super cute, and then I was just obsessed since then. And I just couldn't stop collecting them. They're just so cute.
Do you have a personal favorite, or is that an unfair question?
Yeah, I do have a favorite actually. My favorites, I have these heel slimes, just the ones that look like the jellyfish. They're my favorite slimes. People find them really ugly, but I think they're the cutest. And I have two that have articulated arms, so you could pose them.
Oh.
And they don't... Yeah, they're pretty rare because they're really expensive. And I have one with a hat that's super rare that they don't make anymore. And yeah, they're really cute. They're really expressive, and you could attach them to things and stuff and make them hold stuff.
What type of hat?
They're really cute. Yeah, there's one with the hat. I have one with the hat that I got through the mail. It was like 80 bucks because it was limited edition. And then I got another one without the hat, like the plain one, when I went to Japan 3 years ago. Yeah. I bought him. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Those are my favorite.
I guess, I don't know, small, round, cute things are always great. I've never really played the Monster Hunter games. I'm obviously very familiar with the slimes. That's sort of Monster Hunter's Pikachu, I suppose.
Yeah, it is. It is.
The small, round, cute thing that I love is Kirby. I absolutely love that little guy. Just,
Kirby's really cute. I agree.
Kirby's great.
I have Kirby stickers all over my my Switch Lite.
Oh, nice. Do you know the
Mm.
story behind Kirby's development?
I don't actually. I don't. I watch a lot of videos on YouTube about like Kirby plushies and how rare they are, but
So, back when Kirby's Dream Land was being originally developed, uh, the design that we now know was a placeholder. Just in order to make it so the programmers could, get to work and that the testers could actually get to testing the game before
Right.
the artists finished the actual assets, they just put in a blob. And that's pretty common that you'll see in game development, that you don't want to be entirely beholden to the artists, that you want to be able to give them their time. So you just put something in that can be a stand-in that you can maneuver around and use and have the rest of the production process not be held up while the artists do their thing.
Yeah.
And the artists did their thing, and every time the artists came to the team, they just liked the blob more. And eventually they were just like, let's keep the blob. Let's keep it.
Let's put a face on it. Make it pink.
Yep. So just one of those happy little accidents that
Right.
led to the adorable little blob that we know and love today.
Yes. That's so cute. That's so cute. Just serendipity.
Yes.
He's just created. He was just born.
Now,
All of a sudden.
yeah. Now, some other cute things. There were a couple on your stream today in your Monster Hunter Rise pets, which leads into, I suppose, the next thing I want to talk about. You named your dog Obi-Wan, and you named your cat... Gosh, I loved this name so much. You named it Nyanakin.
I did. I came up with those two. I will take credit for that. The Obi-Wan one actually came from another stream. So it was in Dragon Quest Builders. I have a dog in that game too, and I named him Obi-Wan because Wan is the sound that a dog makes in Japanese onomatopoeia, right?
Yeah.
So I thought it was really cute, and then I got a dog in Monster Hunter, so I was like, oh, let's name it Obi-Wan again. But we got the cat, and I was like, oh, I have to name it Nyanakin. There's no other name.
It was so good.
Yeah.
Also, Arcadia Zero, thank you for the follow. So, as one can assume from those, you are a big fan of Star Wars.
I love Star Wars. It's like, I feel like it's I always love Star Wars, but there's phases in my life where I'm more obsessed with it than like other times, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it comes and goes, and I have to assume that probably comes partially in the waves of, when new content is being made for it.
Yes. Yeah, for me it's really sporadic. Like, it's just not even when new content. It's like sometimes I find myself thinking about it a lot more, and then I have to go find content to consume because I'm really interested in it all of a sudden. Like, I'm in the mood for it.
Yeah.
So recently I've been in the mood for it, and I've been catching up on Clone Wars while I was doing commissions. So I was just like deeply obsessed with it at the moment.
Now, I have not seen the 3D Clone Wars series. I saw the 2D Clone Wars series way back in the day between episodes 2 and 3. I've seen all the films. I don't know much of the EU deep lore, but Star Wars has definitely been a very big part of my life. I remember I went to see the midnight release of episode 3 in the theaters with my father, and it was the day before I had a big test in algebra, and I powered through it. I don't remember how I did on the test. I think I did okay, but I was definitely tired the next day at school, but it was totally worth it.
Yeah, I remember episode 3, The Clerics, because I think I was then old enough to understand the story at the time, being the oldest of my siblings. Like, my little cousin was really obsessed with Star Wars, and then my sister, she just followed along everything that we were doing. I remember like going to Burger King and trying to get the toys because they had like little plushies of Ewoks and like
Oh
Jawas
yeah.
at Burger King. Yeah, I was. We would eat at Burger King like every weekend to try to get all of them.
And one thing looking
I
back,
remember.
Burger King always had the cooler, nerdier toys. Like they had the Pokemon ones,
Oh
they
yeah,
had the Star Wars ones. Like
they did.
I guess McDonald's got the one up on them from Pokemon since they now are the ones that do the cards. But
Right.
I remember back in the day, Burger King always had the better toys.
Yes, Burger King. I liked Burger King much better as a kid because they gave you the crown too back then. I
Yeah.
don't know if they still do that. Yeah, I missed that. And I remember going to the movie theaters and seeing like magazines. The magazines were a huge thing back then because there's like the internet wasn't something that everybody had access to.
Yeah.
Um, so we had entertainment magazines, and whenever I saw Hayden Christensen on one, I had to buy it because I was obsessed with Hayden Christensen as like the wee kid, like one of my first celebrity crushes. Yeah, it was due to the episode 3 promotions, and then he turned out the way he did, and I was very sad as a kid.
Oh wait, so
because I didn't know.
oh, so
I
you
didn't know the
at that
origin
point.
story.
Oh no! Oh no!
Yeah.
Ah!
Yeah, so I actually watched the movies in order, like
Oh,
in
yeah,
the
yeah.
chronological order, not
Oh
the
gosh, and that
like.
and as a kid that must
Yeah.
be so terrible because
Oh
kids
yeah, that
movies
was
usually have happy endings, and most people
Exactly.
went into those films knowing, okay, it's at the very least a pseudo tragedy here that we
right,
didn't know.
because you know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, we don't necessarily
right?
know how it's going to happen, but we know, okay, Padme is not a presence in episode 4, so even if she's not going to die on screen, we know that she's not going to be around for one reason or another.
Right.
And I certainly remember that back in the day, I enjoyed the prequels and just head over heels loved them because, when you're a kid, you aren't really as concerned about plot or about the level of acting, that you're just along for the ride.
Exactly.
Looking back on them now, I can realize, okay, some of the performances in the prequels were not the best. Some of them were great. Ewan McGregor's performance holds up. He's awesome.
The thing is, I really don't think that it's the actors. Really, like the script.
Yeah, that's the other
Like
thing.
some things, like as a voice actor myself, right? If I read the script, I'm like, how could
didn't
I
have
have
much to
delivered
work
this?
with.
You can't.
They did
You
not have
can't.
a ton to work with.
Yeah. So, yeah, and I don't know. I personally don't think there's a good Star Wars movie, and that's like might be a controversial thing to say.
No, but
Star Wars
I
is
can
good
appreciate
because
that.
of the imagination
Yes,
that it
and
sparks.
that's something that I really
Yeah.
embraced, especially with the sequel trilogy. That even going back and revisiting the originals 4, 5, and 6, you realize, all right,
Right.
this is not Shakespeare. This is space
No,
wizards.
it's not.
This is space wizards, and
Yeah.
even though it has a irreplaceable spot in pop culture
Right.
and in the public conscience, this is not high class writing. These are not
No, it's definitely not.
the most inspired performances of all time. There are some moments that are iconic for sure, but these are summer blockbuster films. These are popcorn flicks. These are not meant to be the Oscar contenders.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the thing. Like people get into fights with me about this. I'm like, no, like narratively, these are not
They're not
very
super complex.
They're not complex, they're not really good, but
They're
you have
fun.
fun because of your imagination.
Yes.
Yeah.
The effects are cool. The battles are great.
Right.
One thing that even to this day holds up, the lightsaber choreography in the prequel trilogy was
The
really,
prequels.
really good.
Oh,
Like in some ways,
I love
actually
that. That was my
liked-
favorite.
in some ways, I actually like the prequels lightsaber choreography better than the sequels.
Oh, definitely. The sequel didn't really have that much
Yeah,
lightsaber
they relied a bit more
choreography.
on Force things, and the things they did with the Force
Yeah.
were very cool for sure.
Mhm.
But there was just the Duel of the Fates, Anakin versus
Oh, yeah.
Obi-Wan. There was
The
I-
Mustafar, the scenes on Mustafar,
Yeah,
like that. unforgettable.
I can't
like that's
imagine
just.
how much. I assume there was some stunt double work in there, but whoever it was,
Oh no,
that
there
was
wasn't actually.
there wasn't.
There wasn't. I was actually obsessed with the lightsaber duels as a kid, and even now I go back and there's documentaries and backstage like stuff,
Mm.
videos of Ewan McGregor and um uh
Hayden Christensen.
I can't remember everybody's names. Hayden Christensen, like practicing their sword choreography, like that's all
That must
them.
have
Like they
taken-
had training.
Oh, wow. Because
Yeah.
I've done
Mhm.
like little itty bitty bits of stage combat, and for just
Mhm.
the choreography you need to remember for a 1 minute fight scene. If it's 1 minute, you're probably talking 2-3 weeks of rehearsals.
Oh yeah. Oh
And
yeah.
Those fight scenes, there's always one in each. The one in episode 1, and especially like looking back on episode 1, because that was 3 people. That must have been exponentially
I don't
harder.
even
Just
know
the
how they did
added
it.
layer of there
Yeah.
being a third combatant means that it's like rehearsing a dance.
Oh yeah. I don't even know who choreographed it, but whoever it is, like
Yeah.
they must be like a god.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Combat choreographers. Shout out to the combat choreographers of the world.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah.
Now, do you have a favorite
Mm.
lightsaber design?
A favorite lightsaber design? Oh man. I don't think I did. As a kid, I always just imagined how I would build mine.
Okay, so I'll change the question. How would you build yours?
Oh, it's hard to say because I would do a lot of drawings. Like I would draw blueprints of where my crystal would be, what color would it be, how would I get it. Like I'd create them like I did like a character, like how I created any original character. I would just create it like that, even though I didn't really know how it all really worked in the end.
Because I know that's a process that they detailed a lot more in the books.
Right.
I've only read a couple of them, but I remember reading one of them where Anakin had to go to this cave where they had the Force crystals, and that part of a Jedi's training is going to this cave, and it's sort of a pilgrimage for them of going and harvesting these crystals and
Finding
crafting their
your crystal.
lightsaber.
Yes.
So for any
Yeah,
artists who are in the chat, your homework assignment is to draw Shirara holding a lightsaber.
I was gonna do that. See, like I dreamed of one. My favorite one was there was a design I did when I was a little older, like in high school, and I did one where the crystal was like in a see-through chamber, like on the hilt.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, and that was like one of my favorite lightsaber designs, and I still really want to get it made by like a professional person who does these kinds of things. But I spent too much money on VTubing, so it's like always in the back of my mind.
Someday.
Someday.
I remember I had probably 3 or 4 toy lightsabers that I bought growing up, and just my friends and I would, for lack of a better term, fence with them in my backyard.
Yeah.
I remember I liked Count Dooku's lightsaber the most. That the way that the hilt is curved just made it so much easier to actually wield, because it meant that you could maneuver with one hand a lot easier. So that's the one thing I really remember of just, I thought that the curved design was cool, and also in the little play battles I had with my friends that I always found that I maneuvered a lot better, because when you think about it, if you're holding your arm out, that the way the blade would be relative to your fist, since it's going straight up and down, means that you need to sort of orient your arm a little bit more forward in order to actually aim at your opponent, whereas the orientation of the blade relative to your arm became much more natural when there was that shift of the angle.
Yeah, I mean, it would depend on what form you prefer fighting in, right? From the
I'm certainly not advanced enough to know
form.
what the heck type of form I was using. I was
I
just
guess
swinging
I'm
around.
gonna dive off the deep end
No,
into
please,
the nerd
please.
pool.
Please.
No. Yeah, there's like 7 forms of lightsaber combat, and like I guess the lightsabers that you make are kind of suited to like the form that you prefer,
Yeah,
right?
and that makes
So,
sense
for
because there's many
example,
different styles of fighting, whether it be,
right,
just hand-to-hand combat or
right,
sword combat. So I didn't know that there was actual canonical
yes.
fighting styles. So
Yeah, there's
uh,
lore. Yeah,
please,
there's lore. There's
please
lore in
educate me.
everything in Star Wars. Mhm.
Do you still remember
Sorry,
the
did
7
you say
different
something?
ones?
I don't remember all of them. I can't tell you at the top of my head. I know there's 7, and I know that Mace Windu's favorite form, and that's why he fights in such an aggressive manner, is because he fights in a form called Vapad, which is like the most aggressive form.
Mm.
And then there's like other forms called Soresu, and like it's really cool like to read into it and stuff like that. There's like defensive forms, like forms specifically to deflect
Mm.
like blasters and stuff like that.
Yeah, and it makes sense that
yeah.
you have that diversity in real combat styles. So it's cool to know that they actually developed that full lore in Star Wars, and that's one of the things that every time I go back, I realize just how much deep lore there is. And while a lot of it got sort of slashed when Disney bought it and consolidated the continuity, I always saw that as necessary, that George Lucas back in the day would license Star Wars IP out to anyone who wanted it, who would pay his licensing fee, and more credit to him.
Yeah.
If I was in that position, I would do the same thing. But when Disney acquired it all, they had to figure out how they were going to manage it, and at least for the general public's knowledge, I completely appreciate that it was much easier just to say the films are canon, and this and the Clone Wars animated series is canon. No EU is canon, and we are building from here. That there was simply too much EU to practically ingest. And goodness knows, like, even hardcore Star Wars fans did not have a full grasp of the EU. So trying to have the general public, get read up on all that would not have been practical. But now they're really starting to build it out with the books, with The Mandalorian, and soon we're gonna have the Book of Boba Fett. So it's cool to see that we're now rebuilding the EU, as it were.
Yes. But there's a lot, but the lightsaber forms are actually established in Clone Wars. Like, they mentioned them. I don't think that none of them really go deep into any of the forms, but they do mention the forms, like in Clone Wars and stuff like that. But I don't think they've ever mentioned it in the movies. That's the strange thing. Strange thing.
Yeah. Still, I've definitely heard of cases where Disney has sort of gone back and pulled from EU lore and cherry picked and said, "All right, we're gonna weave this back in one way or another," and it's neat that they at least partially have that woven back in via Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Do you have a
no,
favorite?
you should watch Clone Wars.
Yeah,
You should
I watch a lot
it.
of anime, and the thing is, Clone Wars is 5 seasons, so that's the equivalent of me watching 5 anime. That's but I
at least watch that final season, because it leads up from the end of Clone Wars to all the way to the end of episode 3, from another perspective, from the perspective of Anakin's Padawan.
Yeah, I have seen the last episode of Clone Wars, because I remember there was just a huge explosion in the fan community about it. So I've seen the major scenes. I've seen the one with the... I feel like it's been long enough that it's not spoiler territory that the squad that reported to Ahsoka resisted at first.
Oh yeah. No, that was heartbreaking. I feel like I just caught up, so...
Oh, oops,
yeah.
Goodness,
it's fresh. The wound is
good.
fresh.
Sorry, I didn't realize that you had caught that recently. Whew, got lucky there. Now, have you seen The Mandalorian?
I have I've seen both seasons, so really really cute. I liked it. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, and I honestly didn't expect it to end as quickly as it did, but I kind of like that it
I
did.
didn't either.
It did.
Yeah.
I'm very much in favor of writing stories that have a definitive beginning, middle, and end, and
Right.
it's nice that the show did not overstay its welcome, that I would not mind seeing a third season of it, but at the same time, I could also just see that being the end of that story. But at the same time, we could always get The Mandalorian in cameo appearances in any of the other live-action shows that are being developed.
Right. Yeah. It was really sad that it did end that quickly for me, especially since Ahsoka came in at the end.
Yeah, well,
and
it's not so sad for her because she has her own show in development.
oh yeah, I can't wait. She's like my favorite. Like she's how did you not like her, right? And then Bad Batch is coming out soon. I cannot wait.
Yeah,
Like
that,
if you
that
know
one's actually
Clone
going to
Wars
be
like
this
that.
year, if memory serves.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm so excited for the Bad Batch because it's like a continuation of of Clone Wars from another perspective. Because I know technically Rebels is like also continuation, which I'm working on. Working on going through Rebels right now.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of seasons and not a lot of time. Yeah.
As Obi-Wan said, it's all about a certain point of view.
Yes, it is all about a certain point of view.
So, well, I guess, have you ever actually streamed a Star Wars game?
I played with Stikukasu, which is like the stick figure VTuber. And we played Lego Star Wars, and it was fun because you played through all the prequels.
Oh yeah, the Lego Star
As
Wars
these
were
Legos?
those were so fun, so simple, and that was really,
Yeah.
I feel like, where the Lego video game franchise took off.
Yes. Yeah. No, that was more fun than I thought it would be. It was really dumb, but it was fun. It was fun, and I did buy the new Battlefront, but I haven't really played it yet because I'm scared I'll get motion sickness.
Oh no. Well,
Huh?
hopefully you'll be able to get around to it and hopefully not get motion sick.
Yeah. Definitely no pilot. If I was definitely no pilot. Could barely drive a car.
Oh dear. Well, outside of Star Wars, gosh, it's like I could legitimately just go on about Star Wars for an hour, hour and a half, but I do want to talk about other things, so I will pry us away from it. But for those of you in chat, if you're ever looking for a VTuber that knows her Star Wars, Shirara is your girl.
It's me. It's me.
So you mentioned earlier, apart from the art and JRPGs, you also sing a lot.
I do sing a lot. It's like one of my main things.
Do you have a, I suppose, favored style of singing? That do you tend towards idol music? Do you enjoy pop songs, or what is your style?
So I like all kinds of music. But in terms of singing, I do better with like musical theater, like Disney type, and also jazz songs. I think those suit my voice a lot more. But I like to sing all kinds of songs. It's just those kinds of songs I'm the best with.
I am definitely a theater nerd. Do you have a favorite Broadway musical?
Favorite Broadway musical? This is hard. This is hard. I'm not sure if I do. I think the only Broadway show I went to see on Broadway was Wicked when I was like really young.
Wicked was so good.
In New York.
Yeah,
in
Wicked
New
I
York.
think might just be my favorite. That it's very much kind of like the story of Anakin Skywalker from a different point of view.
Right. Right. Yeah. I don't remember the story that much. which sucks. I really need to revisit Wicked because the songs in it are really good.
Yeah. Fortunately, you can definitely get most of it from the soundtrack. There's a couple scenes that you do miss out on, but you're able to definitely get the major beats from it.
Yes.
When you do karaoke
Definitely
on your
give it a
streams,
listen.
I suppose, is there a song that you've noticed people requesting of you that has sort of maybe become your go-to there?
Yeah, it's 2 songs, Plastic Love and Bakamitai from Yakuza.
From Yakuza, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Both of
usually
those songs
those 2.
seem to be very popular for VTubers in general.
Yes, in general, yeah. But those 2 by far get requested the most out of all the other songs that I sing.
I know one of my previous guests, Lane Blanc, has done covers of both of those. That if you're ever looking for someone to do a duet with, maybe she's somebody to get in touch with.
Alright, definitely keep that in mind.
So, you told me one time, for those who might not be aware, one thing I do with all my guests is I make a point to speak with them the week of the show to get ideas for topics and for us to, get to know each other a little bit before the actual show. And one thing you said to me that I found really cool and just sort of poignant, you said every stream is a chance to debut.
Yes. Yes, I think a lot of people in the VTuber community, they don't realize this, and they get really caught up in the idea that your debut has to be like your one shot or whatnot, or your one big advertising event, which is true. It is one big advertising event. But
you yourself are planning your re-debut for April at
yeah, exactly. I am. It's like another chance to the big advertising event. But beyond that, people think that after your big advertising event, you could just go play games and act and be a normal quote-unquote streamer, which I think is a pitfall, especially in the beginning, because in the beginning, especially for the first couple months, you have to view... I feel like you should view every stream as a new debut. I know it sounds scary, but there's chances that you could get raided by somebody, and in a split moment, you have 2 minutes to let your personality shine through and try to hold on to some viewers,
Yeah, and every time you go live, that if there's one person in the audience who has not tuned into a stream before, that is your debut for them.
Exactly. There's a chance for new viewers to see you every single time you go live. So, your debut is never over. You're debuting every time you go live. And I hope that people really take that chance and see the opportunities there, and really do their best with each and every stream and find creative ways to show your personality and what you can do in 2 minutes flat. So, that's why I think it's really important to be thankful for every viewer, because every viewer is important. It's just
for sure.
You want to do your best.
Watching is choosing to spend some of their time with you, and
exactly.
That's really special.
It is very special. Yes. Yeah, it's just thinking about my streams are typically 2, 3, 4 hours long, and that's 2, 3, 4 hours that somebody's taking out of their day to just watch you, or even lurking. They remember to put your stream up just so their number will count on your viewership. I think that's so sweet, and it's so much more than people really do for a lot of other people in their lives.
For sure. That just it's nice to be thought of, and even if someone's multitasking, the fact that they choose to bring yours up, or if they get dumped into your channel from a raid, that they choose to stick around that little bit longer, it's very meaningful for the streamer, and it's that warm fuzzy feeling.
It is. It definitely gives you warm fuzzy feelings. It definitely, these thoughts kind of keep me warm at night and keep me going.
So yes, thank you to everyone who's tuning in, lurker, chatter, or otherwise. You do make a difference.
for sure.
So, you were actually kind enough to send me a couple pieces of your art. So, I'm actually going to shift us over to a new screen right now because I'd love to hear a bit about some. Oh, darn it, Streamlabs. Made the switch a bit early, but oh well. So, I have here one of the. You said this was one of the first pieces that you did after debuting.
Yeah, no, this is pre-debut actually. This is the next piece I did after I drew my model. So I drew my model, sent it off to Rig, and then I drew this. And I drew this picture of Ina, who was my inspiration for becoming a VTuber, like a big inspiration of mine.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Ina. Yeah, Ina was like my. She's my oshi, like my number one. And because she has artist tendencies, and she's kind of like. She has a really calming personality like mine.
Yeah, you two
personality
definitely
that I didn't think
have similar vibes in general. Of just you're on the quieter side.
Yeah.
Art is one of your specialties. It certainly of the 5 Hololive EN girls, Ina is absolutely the one that if I were to say, all right, you have the greatest affinity towards one of them, that Ina would be who I'd expect.
Yes. Yeah, we have really similar accents, which is funny because we're not the same kind of Asian. I can tell. I don't think we're the same kind of but we have really similar accents, I've noticed, and I just really gravitated towards her, I guess.
So when
in
it
so
came
many
to
ways.
this piece, I suppose, what was your thinking of I'm no good at art, so I'm not really good at asking art questions. I'm trying to figure out the best way to phrase this. What was your initial concept? So you know that you want to draw I guess, what led to this pose or this angle? Was this something that you had in mind as soon as you knew you wanted to draw her, or was it that you wanted to draw her in a particular mood and then arrived on this pose? How did that come about?
To be honest, because I just got into drawing at the time, like this was like one of the first pieces I did after coming out of hiatus. I knew I needed to draw the whole body because I was struggling a lot with drawing bodies, like coming out of this long break. And I wanted to draw something a little more challenging. I knew I wanted her to like kind of be sitting down from the side. I wanted to explore that a little more, right? And I knew I wanted her to be sitting in like her tentacles. Like that's all I knew going into this. And then I went to look at references for like real people sitting in similar positions, and eventually I came upon I just pieced together some bits and pieces of every picture to form this pose.
I really like it.
It
I
just
love
turned
that you
out the
had
way it
her
did.
have her just her tentacles are the chair.
Yeah. Yes.
Was there a
Yes.
particular part of this drawing that was especially challenging?
Especially challenging, I think it was the tentacles. The tentacles are really hard for me to visualize and color as well. Like all the little patterns on her little Louis Vuitton, pseudo Louis Vuitton tentacles. All of those like patterns, that's hand drawn. Like I have to do that on my own. I think that was really challenging, like the patience that it took for me to do that.
And I suppose the fact that they're rounded and it means that the shading, because of how light would bounce off of them, it's just going to be, I have to imagine, much more subtle. And like I said, I certainly have no talent for art, so I guess in some ways that makes me appreciate art all the more, because I know I have enough friends who do art to know how much goes into it and how much time and effort it takes. I'm not quite the best when it comes to, I suppose, using correct terminology, but I know that if just looking at the tentacles, there's the different shades of purple because of how lighting would bounce off of it, and since it's round, it means you need to have it be more gradual than it would be versus a flat surface or
Right.
a given material like her stockings, which don't necessarily reflect the light as much, since that's a bit of a flatter
Yeah.
coloring.
It's a textural thing.
Yeah.
It's a textural thing. How to express texture in a drawing. It's one of the things a lot of people struggle with. Like, how are you gonna make the skin look different from the tentacles and the hair, right?
Yeah.
And from the clothes, how do you make it look like cloth, even though you're using all the same tools? And like, I think that's one of the things that I am still in the process of learning how to get better at. Yeah. hmm
What type of, I suppose, tools do you use? Have you gotten new tablets or tools since you started, or do you have something that's your go-to?
Sorry, could you repeat that again? Sorry.
Um, what are the tools that you use in terms of just like your drawing tablet, and have you upgraded since you
Yeah.
started, or do you have
Oh
your
yeah.
old
I
reliable?
mean, so when I drew this piece, this Ina piece, it was done on my old like Intuos 4 tablet, which is like not a screen tablet. It's like one of those that you plug in the computer. It's like a little board that you draw on. There's no screen on it.
Yeah.
And since this was pre-debut, now after I decided to become a streamer for art, I needed something that I was more comfortable with using, in terms of posture and just typical comfort. So I bought was it 28-inch Huon Canvas Pro,
Oh wow.
which is a screen tablet, and now I draw on that, and I've been loving it so far. I've been loving it so far. Yeah.
For someone who's
And my
just starting out, I suppose, would you say that the tablet you had for this piece would be a good one to use for the starter, or would you say that it's worthwhile to just invest in a better one up front?
So there's nothing wrong with the tablet I used here. It's still a professional tablet. It's just a matter of how comfortable you are when you are drawing. Are you struggling a lot with hand-eye coordination? If you're just beginning drawing, if you're just starting to draw, this tablet would do absolutely fine. But if you get more advanced and you feel like you are not able to surpass a certain level because you're just struggling with visualizing and drawing on this like little board, which is what happened to me, I just decided to take the leap and use a screen tablet. But I think if you're starting out, I would just start with like a normal tablet, like the one I use for this one. Yeah.
Do you think that you'll be revisiting Ina as a subject sometime, since this was the first you did after your hiatus, to sort of have a before and after, now that your skills have grown as much as they have?
I do want to draw her again. It's just I've been so busy with indie VTuber stuff that I haven't really had time to dedicate my time to Hololive like I used to.
Yeah, understandable.
But I do want to draw Ina again. I do want to draw the other girls as well. I want to do fan art, but eventually when I have some more time. Yeah.
For sure. Now, that was the drawing that you did when you first came out of hiatus. This one that I just brought up, you mentioned, is your most recent one, and this is Sylvie.
Yeah, Sylvie. Yeah, my sister. So my new model is gonna be drawn by a illustrator named Lulu, who's a Chinese artist, and she also drew Sylvie and Muga in the chat. Muga's in the chat too.
Hi, Muga.
So Sylvie, yeah. So we're sisters, and Sylvie's design is what made me choose my new mama. I just fell in love with all the little details and everything and the style, so I contacted Sylvie's mama to do mine as well. So she's a big inspiration to me, and she's really kind to me as well. So I decided to draw her as a thank you for everything. And it's a great show of how much that I've improved in terms of coloring and lines and everything since then. So
Were there any
yeah.
particular parts that you sort of realize just as you're doing it, oh, this is so much easier than it used to be? Like, I'm now able to draw hair in a way that I wasn't able to before, or maybe eyes.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's not that it gets easier per se. I mean, with the tablet, because this one I've drawn on my screen tablet now. And there's just so many things, like long lines that I'm able to draw better, and less crunchy, more flowy, since I'm in a better posture. It's kind of like painting and drawing on like in real life, you know, like on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
So in that way, I'm able to draw much larger, and my drawings tend to look less stiff because I can put my body movement into drawing lines and stuff like that. Yeah. So I've been enjoying that a lot.
So there's a concept called flow, and this is something that applies to any type of work where the axis in the theory is difficulty versus, oh goodness, and now I'm blanking on it. Was shoot. You know, I had something that I thought sounded kind of poignant, and then I forgot one of the big axes. It was difficulty versus skill, I think, and if something is very difficult and you don't have a lot of expertise in it, you have frustration. If you have a lot of expertise and it's a low difficulty, you have boredom. And the point where the difficulty and skill meet is where you have flow, because you're mentally engaged, it's something that you find challenging but not frustrating, and that's something that you can get into, whether it be playing an instrument, drawing, playing a game, a sport, anything like that. Do you find yourself getting into flow of just, I guess, losing yourself in your art when you do any particular, I suppose, step of the work? Do you really enjoy the coloring, the line work? Is there an aspect that seems to really resonate with you more than the others?
Not really, because it's all together a process, right? You can't have one without the other to be like a complete successful illustrator. You have to know it all.
For sure, yeah. And that's a totally valid answer as well.
Yeah, this is hard. Like, I don't think I ever found that flow. Like, I still feel like I'm very green and new in terms of the stuff that I do, and I'm constantly just trying to improve. Like, there's always something I want to do. Like, every piece I get better. So I'm always making myself very uncomfortable, and there's always a layer of frustration that you have to work through when you're in a place like mine. So
But still, that leads to you getting better.
when I'm streaming.
But that leads to you getting better because you're pushing yourself.
Exactly, it does, but the ceiling keeps rising, right? And it's never enough, so I'm always uncomfortable, especially on stream. You have to accept that people are like watching you make these mistakes and draw as slow as a snail, and it was through Ina actually that I realized it's okay, because you know she's like a pro artist, but even she had to like work to get there, you know. So there was no shame in me being worse than others or being bad at art, because I was working to get better, and I will get better, and I am getting better, so I should just keep doing what I'm doing and being authentic and showing people me and my process. So yeah.
When it comes to process, have you found that you approach things in a standardized way, that whenever you have a new piece, you always want to do something like you approach part A first, then part B? That obviously there is a given process of you're gonna do the lines before the coloring, but are there any, I suppose, flexible aspects that you've found you like to do in a given order, or do things shift around depending on the piece?
So when I get to the coloring stage, that's when things get pretty chaotic. I just start wherever I feel like starting that day. But in terms of like composition and sketching, that doesn't tend to budge much because it always starts with research, for references, and then before that, thumbnails or ideas. Just like brainstorming, and then research, and then you would start sketching the basic, like really sketchy, like just to place everything down where everything wants to be layer, and then going on top of that with your actual sketch layer where you're drawing in way more details. And then after that, you line art, and then coloring gets to be a little bit more chaotic for me.
Mm,
But it's pretty structured in terms of the steps you need to make like a digital illustration. Yeah.
mm. And I suppose, do you have any, I suppose, stylistic flourish that you found yourself developing? That do you, whether it be like a curl in your lines or a way that you do your coloring, have you noticed any almost signature thing for you, or is that still also developing as well, or just simply shifting piece by piece to the point where you don't necessarily have a stylistic signature yet?
I think it's too new for me to say I have a stylistic signature because
Hey, that's totally fair.
I still am coming out. Yeah, but I know a thing that people notice is how I draw hair. I'm very impartial to drawing hair. I love drawing hair a lot, so um yeah, that's like the first thing that people will notice, like how you draw hair, like how do you learn the flow of it, and yeah, I'm pretty proud of how I draw hair. Yeah. Though I'm not sure if it's like a stylistic thing, because I don't think it's very unique in any way. It's just something that I'm technically very good at.
Well, I
Mhm.
suppose if not a stylistic thing, it's a specialty maybe.
Yeah. Mhm.
That's still really neat. Like I said, I have no skill whatsoever. I can barely draw a straight line, and it just makes me appreciate the people who have put in the time and dedication and effort all the more. That I know that conceivably, if I were to put in the time and effort, that I could get better. But this type of art has never spoken to me as a creator, but at the same time, I just love seeing people get into their particular art, regardless of if it's, musical performance or drawing or whatever. And it's very clear that you have found something that you truly love in drawing, and that's, I definitely think, a good part of why so many people enjoy your art streams.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, drawing is one of those things I've done pretty much all my life. I love it a lot, so so I like to do it. It's relaxing for me.
Do you know what
Hmm.
your next piece is going to be outside of commissions?
Not really. I haven't really planned my next big piece yet because I am really busy with commissions. There's a whole list of people on my wait list that I have to work through.
Hmm.
And it was just recently I've gotten really good at drawing chibis too.
Yeah, you were
So
doing
after
that
I
on
get
stream
through
just the
my
other
wait
day.
list, yeah, there was a couple samples that I posted the other day, but I can't post them here because they are commissioned, so I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to post them until they're done.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So if any of
Yeah.
you in the audience want to see her working on chibis, you'll just have to tune into her stream.
Yup.
I'm going to shift us back to the main stage. There we go. So, outside of drawing and streaming, you mentioned to me that you actually really enjoy being active as well, and that you had,
Yes.
as you described them, training arcs in both dancing and MMA.
Yes. I was really fit, and keyword was my health has took a really big nosedive in the recent years, so I haven't really been super active for the past year or two. Well, because of COVID too. um, but before that, I was a bodybuilder as well. And I was training in MMA. Um, and I was also a ballet dancer. Not really good in any of them, but the fact is I did get the training. uh, yeah, it was hard work, but it was fun. It was fun.
Was there
Mm.
anything particular that led to your interest in those different areas?
Mostly for vain reasons. I wanted to maintain my body size and shape. I was really into cosplay back in the day, and I have like this tiny form, that was really suitable for a lot of characters I like to cosplay, and I wanted to keep it that way. So a lot of the things I did was to keep my form the way it was for pictures at the time.
Hmm.
But also to prove to myself that I can do stuff that I'm not good at. If that makes sense.
No, it makes total sense, and that's really cool of just
Yeah.
saying, all right, I know this is something that is a bit outside of my usual wheelhouse, and I want to try it for that reason. That
Yeah.
not a lot of people are able to really go out of their comfort zone, so the fact that you actively went out of your way to do so is really neat.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things you can learn, right? You can, as an adult, you're probably not going to be the most talented person in the room or have the most to bring to the table, but you're there because you wanted to be there and you're going to have fun and you're going to get what you wanted out of it. You're just there, right?
Yeah.
So it did teach me a lot about going into situations, and self-confidence. And confidence is maybe it's not about knowing that you can do stuff, it's just that your willingness and perseverance more than anything.
For sure, and I think that's something for streamers and content creators in general, that you're always putting yourself out there. Everything is live. That even if you're
Yes.
relatively confident, every time that you're streaming is a bit of a risk of just, okay, is it going to be something technical, or am I just going to, 5 minutes ago, I completely forgot half of the axes in the concept of flow and fell on my face a bit there, but
Yep.
oh well. And just being able to work through little stuffs like that, or sometimes bigger ones. I actually had one of my opening monologues a while back was embrace the scuff, love the scuff. Of in live performance and production, regardless of if it's a stream or a concert or some event, things will go wrong inevitably. It's just the scale of what goes wrong, trying to do what you can to prevent things from going wrong ahead of time, and accepting that they will still probably go wrong to some degree, and then how do you handle them when they go wrong?
Yeah. That's still something that I'm learning, I have like issue with VTubing is I'm using so much technology. Like I've never used a capture card before. And like I have so many audio issues with it, and today, right after my stream, I figured out what's wrong.
But hey, that's a learning for next time.
Yeah, it's for next time, and I'm not even sure if the fix will work, so we'll see, right?
Yeah, I had one stream where I started and realized audio wasn't coming through, and it took me a good 10 minutes and a friend popping in for me to realize that, it was a stupid Discord setting. In fact, it was something that hadn't been set when we met up for the pre-show just today, that I was saying, oh, wait a minute, you're not coming through here on Streamlabs. I know what's wrong, or I'm pretty sure I know what's wrong. Let me check this and this, that, the other. Yep, there we go. Because after that one time where I went live with that setting wrong, I am never forgetting that again.
Right. Yeah, it only takes once, right? You learn it once and you never need to learn it again.
Just figuring out, okay, how do I not make the same mistake twice?
Right, for sure.
Then you just go into the next mistake. So, you mentioned actually that you used to cosplay, and you said that you've also done some resin crafting, so it seems that just art, literal arts and crafts, seems to be something that has really spoken to you in general, whether it be digital or physical. Do you have a particular favorite 3D item that you have created?
Ooh, Ooh, this one's rough. This one's tough. Ooh. I made a lot of stuff that I loved when I was a resin crafter. Um, so I can't really give you a number one favorite for sure. But there's like, let's just say there's several phone cases that I made, Decoden phone cases, and several resin pieces that I was really proud of that were shakers. They had like stuff floating inside of them. They took like 3 days to make.
Wow.
Yeah, no, it was a really successful resin crafting shop.
That's neat.
Back in the day. A couple years ago.
Now, hopping back a little bit to the modeling work that you're doing. So you're creating the new model on stream, but you're also learning to rig it yourself.
Yes, I do plan to rig it myself, and that's gonna be a journey. Like, I'm not sure how that's gonna go. I'm not too good with learning programs. So,
There's a
but
reason
I'm
people pay
really
hundreds
stubborn.
of dollars for other people to do that for them. It's not easy.
Not easy, no, but I gotta give it the good old try, you know? I'm really stubborn like that. Really stubborn like that.
And you said that you're doing it both for yourself, but also because you want to help show people that they can do it. That sort of, I guess,
Yes.
in the way that Ina helped inspire you, you're trying to pass that along yourself.
Exactly. Like, Ina really inspired me that I can do a lot of things I thought I couldn't do. Because, there's always an excuse. There's not enough time, there's not enough this, I'm just not good enough, blah, 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 blah. When really, like, none of these things are really things that are really valid if you really want to do something. You're gonna do it even if it's bad. Right?
Yeah.
So I wanted to impart that kind of attitude to other people, like to be like, hey, like I'm really interested in doing this. I'm gonna regret it if I don't do it, so I'm just gonna freaking do it, even if it's gonna be not the best.
Yeah.
Just do it. Just do it.
That's certainly why I'm here. I know I'm not the highest quality VTuber talk show out there, but I try my best, and I like to think that maybe my, I suppose, stylistic specialty is the way that I ask questions or the way that I just run the interviews. And, every interviewer is a little bit different, just as every artist is a little bit different. That
Right.
my canvas is words, and I try not to mess up too much, but of course, I do every so often. And with words, they aren't as easily erased as lines in art programs. So I have to be, all the more, I suppose, not careful, because I would like to think that I would not ask anything that is, inappropriate, but I try and ask my questions as best I can, and that is why I sometimes take things a bit slower and be like, all right, what is the way to phrase this? Because that then bounces off the guest and gets different types of answers, and that's something that over my 11 episodes so far, I have noticed. I'd like to think I've gotten a little bit better, but I still, every show I'm realizing, okay, I need to get a bit better working in this situation, or I need to be a bit more conscientious of not stuttering as much, not saying or like, little things like that, and that is my own way of improving and trying to show, all right, even if you just have a crummy little skyline background and some text assets and a free, frame for the guest, that you can still put on a show and hopefully have it be enjoyable for the guest and the viewers. And I've definitely been enjoying our time here so far.
Same. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for taking the time. That just in the way that it's one thing for a viewer to come in and spend a little time on the stream that they can pop out whenever, but just for you in particular and for all my guests, it is so very meaningful to me that you all are comfortable to put yourselves out there in this type of form, but also to dedicate your time, that you're taking time that you could be streaming or working on commissions and other things. So I hope it is not lost on you the impact and the significance that your presence has here for me. So thank you once again.
No, I appreciate it. Don't worry about it. I enjoy spending time talking with other creators. So, yeah, it was really fun.
So I have a couple questions that I like to ask all of my guests. The first one I always ask is, what is your favorite meal? And that is definitely a silly question for you because the answer is going to be dumplings. So I will rephrase it to be, what is your favorite type of dumpling?
My favorite type of dumpling is the pork and leek dumpling that you would boil. In terms of like a true dumpling, but in terms of like what Westerners consider dumplings, it would also include soup dumplings, which are not actually dumplings. In Chinese culture, they're baos.
So
they're
what
buns.
is the technical difference between a dumpling and a bao?
It's more like a shape. It's like a shape thing.
So
like a dumpling is like shaped kind of like an ingot, you know?
Yeah,
and
it's
then
the one that
a
is
bun is like
pinched from side to side, and then the bao is the circular one where you have the single pinch point at the top, correct?
Exactly, yeah. But technically, like, they're the same thing. It's just wording, I guess.
Yeah. So when it comes to bao, if we are considering that in the umbrella of dumplings,
it would
does
be
your
soup
answer
dumplings.
change? Soup dumplings?
Yeah, it would be soup dumplings. Yeah, the xiaolongbao.
Yeah.
Called xiaolongbao.
Yeah, those are up there for me as well.
So good.
If you can find a restaurant that makes good soup dumplings, like, you can... There is a very significant quality difference for just certain restaurants in the ability to create a good dumpling. That sometimes, you know, a milkshake is gonna be a milkshake for the most part. That you might find some place that uses better quality ice cream, but when it comes to dumplings in particular, I've definitely found that the degree of quality variation is much broader than in some other cuisines.
It's also a matter of like your family too, right? So like my family is famous for our dumplings because of like whatever ingredients that we use, and they taste a certain way. But if you go to a different family, they will taste a little different because that's the way they like it, right? And everybody thinks that their families taste the best.
Oh, of course,
so
of course.
So when you move and you come to America, and there's like these little shops that are opened by these families who make their dumplings their certain way, the goal is to find one that is closest to your taste at home.
Yeah.
Do
you have a favorite type of dessert dumpling?
Dessert dumpling? Does that exist?
I guess so. You know, there's red bean dumplings. I've seen some dumplings. Well, I suppose
I don't think we consider them dumplings though. There's like buns. There's like red bean buns.
Okay,
and
yeah,
stuff,
so that would be my lack of education in that sense of the technical difference between a dumpling, a bao, and a bun. So hey, I'm learning even more stuff tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, in terms of like the buns?
So I suppose then what is the difference
Maybe
between
like
a bao and a bun?
custard?
Because a bao and a bun are both round.
Yeah, but here's the difference. Like, a bao is made of bread. Like, there's like a bread that's steamed outside. I mean, dumplings can be steamed too, but most of the time they're boiled or fried, and they're ingot shaped.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the ones you go to dim sum and you eat with either the custard or the red bean, those are usually buns. They're like steamed buns with a spongy kind of bread on the outside.
So the difference here is in the dough that is used on the outside.
Yeah, and they're really not all that different. Like, the dumplings usually made with a non-yeasted dough, or I'm not even sure. No, it is yeasted. Never mind. I have no idea actually. It's like a cultural thing. Like, I guess it would be confusing to a foreigner. But we don't call those dumplings. Those aren't those aren't dumplings.
Well, now I know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
When it comes to drinks, do you drink tea, coffee, both, or neither? And if you do drink them, how do you take them?
I drink both, but I like tea a little bit more than coffee. Coffee's good, but I drink it with like a lot of creamer and a dash of coffee, so it's not really coffee. Um, and I like coffee flavor. I just don't like what it does, I guess.
Gotcha. Yeah. So you aren't a big fan of high levels of caffeine.
No, because it makes me sick. There's something in it that makes me ill, and my appetite's really small to begin with, and it just makes it 10 times worse, and I wouldn't eat for like 2 days.
Oh dear. Well, yeah, that'll lead to you not liking something.
Yeah, and then I like tea a little bit better, because I feel like it's less caffeine, and it doesn't make me feel like shit. Sorry for the cussing.
Don't worry. There's been far worse on this show.
I see. Yeah, it doesn't make me feel like crap, and I don't really like to drink too much sweet stuff early in the morning, especially. So tea is usually better for me.
Do you have a favorite type of tea?
Yeah, jasmine. Jasmine green tea is like my absolute favorite. I also like matcha, like really bitter matcha.
Ooh.
I really like matcha. And yeah, mostly jasmine. I like barley tea too during the summer, like cold barley tea.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, that can be very nice on a hot day for sure.
Yeah.
Is there something that people don't know about you? It could be something very small, but is there something that even if someone has tuned into all your streams, some sort of fun fact or something that just hasn't come up that you'd be willing to share?
A fun fact. This is tough. I have I guess I did mention this a couple times, but I have Portuguese family members. I have a whole branch of my family it's like Portuguese.
Hey, that's neat.
Yeah, we're really multicultural. And yeah, my aunt married into a Portuguese family, so I have a bunch of like cousins that don't look anything like.
Hey, but that just makes you
like
all
you
the
would
more
expect.
worldly, gives you more experiences and just more points of view. Going back to Obi-Wan.
Yeah. Yes. I'm very well traveled, and I'm just one of those people who are just pretty well traveled and have a different point of view than a lot of Americans, I feel like.
What is your favorite place that you have traveled to, and where is a place that you have not been to that is at the top of your list of when travel is viable again that you want to go there?
So, one of the most magical trip I've ever had was when I went to Japan like a year ago. We went to the hot spring village of Hakone, and it was, oh man, it was magical. Like the resort we went to was called Fukuzumiro, and it was really, really, really nice. It was a really old building. It was like an onsen, like a ryokan, right? And it was right by the Edogawa River. It was right by it. So when we're in this room, it had like paper windows that you could slide, and we're sleeping on futons, and the service was excellent. They'd serve you food and stuff, but at night when you sleep in this really traditional room, you could hear the Edogawa River.
Oh, wow.
Just like flowing, and when you open the window, it was picturesque. It looked like something out of a fairy tale, and yeah, that was magical. That was
That's so
absolutely
cool.
magical. I really recommend it. Tokyo's fun, but if you can get out of Tokyo and really go to the countryside and these like side tourist things, like they're so beautiful. Like you'll never see anything like it.
Yeah, just for the longest time, I've been meaning to take a trip to Japan, and after being cooped up for the past year, I am now really just wanting to more than ever, and I think that I'm going to be starting to plan just an extended trip. My hope is to be able to find like 1 week at least, hopefully 2 weeks, and I want to be able to both go to, the regular urban areas, Tokyo, and see some of, I suppose, the nerdier sites in Shinjuku, but I also want to be able to take some time to see a bit of the countryside and just a couple of temples and see the more natural aspects that Japan is so famous for. So
Yes.
I might ping you in a couple months or a year saying, hey, do you have any recommendations of places to stop?
Yeah, I have a whole bunch. I mean, there's another trip I want to plan for like the next year, where we will go to more of those like side places. I want to spend more time in Osaka and um, go to more hot spring towns and stuff like that. Really want to do all that. But right now, I really also want to go to Korea. I want to go to Seoul. I haven't seen Seoul yet. Really want to see it. Also, Singapore. Really want to go to Singapore. Yeah.
That's nice. Yeah, I'm looking forward to being able to travel again. Just after this past year, knock on wood, it feels like we're really actually starting to approach the light at the end of the tunnel of just, I'm seeing more of my friends post about getting their vaccines, and hopefully we'll be able to finally, go out and, eventually get things back to normal. So I'm definitely looking forward to it.
I can't wait. Yeah, I can't wait till, all my friends are vaccinated and I'm vaccinated and we can go hang out. All our friends are just like talking about, we're gonna kiss all our homies on the lips.
Maybe not quite. Maybe not that close, but
Yeah.
I have to imagine there's gonna be a lot of very heartfelt reunions when people are able to get back together.
For sure.
I know, like, for just conventions in particular are going to be just cathartic for so many people.
Oh, yeah. I quit going to conventions a while ago, but I feel like when COVID lifts and everybody's okay, oh my god. I'm definitely gonna go to a convention, for sure.
Yeah. So, apart from the rig and the re-debut, do you have any particular goals for 2021?
2021. For me, it's just to get better at drawing. Get more do more art for companies. I feel like if I could land another opportunity by the end of the year, it'd be great. It'd be great.
Being able to
Have
really
a
start establishing
portfolio.
yourself as a professional artist.
Yes, I want to have a portfolio and really maybe quit my day job and start full-time commissions. But right now it seems kind of like a dream right now, so I'll have to keep working. Keep working towards it the best I could.
Slowly but surely, but I'm sure you'll get there. That you've already shown so much growth in the 6 months that you've been doing it, and I can see that just from the 2 drawings that we showed tonight. So, as you continue, I'm quite confident that opportunities will begin to present themselves.
Thank you. Yeah, hopefully, one can hope. One can only hope.
So, Shirara, what does being a VTuber mean to you?
Being a VTuber means to put yourself out there and develop your confidence and to really learn more about yourself and the people around you, to be a light in a time of darkness, to be the best version, the best imaginary version of yourself that you are never able to truly become in real life because of real life reasons. You know, it's a magical world. A way to separate from, harsh realities, and go back to when you were a child and you lived in that sort of world and mindset, you know?
Yeah,
That's, to me, that's what it is.
VTubing really blew up, I think, due to a variety of factors. Because obviously VTubing has been around for several years now. Kizune is, I think, going on 6 years old. So not a inherently new concept, but certainly in 2020, I think we hit that tipping point for, even if we aren't at mainstream popularity yet, there was certainly a paradigm shift and an explosion for the community. And one of the factors, I don't think it is a stretch to say, was the fact that people had to be inside and less traditionally social than before. So it provided a new way for people to connect, just as content creators, a new way for them to express themselves. That I know so many people, as you said, have used VTubing to be themselves in a way that they are not able to be in a normal physical sense, and be able to just express themselves and create things that they might not normally be able to. So it's, as someone who is not a VTuber, it's really heartwarming and just cool to see that. Certainly, I know for the fans that VTubing came at a great time, because it's been just an incredible source of entertainment for viewers. It's been this whole new world and community for the fans, but it's really heartening to see that the VTubers themselves, the creators themselves, are also able to get something really unique from all of this, and that they're enjoying themselves in ways that they might not have even been able to imagine even 12 months ago at this point. And that's part of why I started the show, that just I want to be able to meet new people, new VTubers, and to help introduce VTubers to others, because there are so many and everyone has their own personality, their own style, the things that they like, and it's really neat. Little sappy, but
Yeah.
it's really neat, and I'm so looking forward to seeing you as you continue to grow, and just all the guests I've had in the past, the community itself. Like I mentioned earlier, Nyanners and Kizune represents the teaming up of two of the biggest forces in the community, and hopefully that pushes things into the spotlight even more. We just had the conclusion of the second round of Whole IVN's auditions, which hopefully will bring in even more people. So VTubing as a whole has grown a lot, but there's so much more that we can do. There's so many more people we can reach, and I think 2021 is going to be as big a year, if not even a bigger year than 2020.
Yeah, hopefully. I just feel like I have so much to do. So much to do in the next year. There's so much I want to do in terms of VTubing that, I don't even know where to start.
Yeah.
Or begin. Yeah.
But at the same time, just, take care of yourself. It certainly seems like you've been doing a good job of being conscious of your own limits and health, and making sure to take days off when you need to. And that's something I think is very admirable and very smart, because the worst thing that could happen is somebody pushing themselves too hard and burning out, because that's just tragic. But you seem to have a fantastic head and a pair of horns on your shoulders, and your streams are just an absolute delight to tune into. So I hope that everyone who tuned in tonight will, follow you on Twitch and Twitter. Be sure to tune into her streams. Do you have anything on the schedule that is locked in for next week that you're able to share, or should people just keep an eye on your Twitter account?
Yeah, they should keep an eye out because I don't make my schedule until Sunday nights.
Yeah, I admittedly lucked out because of that, because when I pinged you last Sunday night, you were actually just in the process, I think, of finishing it up, and you were gracious enough to get me on that schedule, so thank you for that. But so be sure to follow Shirara on Twitch and Twitter. Keep an eye out on Sunday nights. She always has these beautiful schedule posts, and I think it's pretty safe to guess that Monster Hunter Rise is going to be on the schedule in some capacity for next week, along with art. Then, as you said, just any other number of variety of things. So I definitely look forward to seeing more of your streams. I hope others will as well. Is there anything else that you would like to say or promote before we head out for the evening?
I don't really have anything to promote right now. Other than please give my sisters some love. Sylvie, Mikazuki Sylvie, and Matsui Muga. They are both my sisters, and we plan to have lots of activities to get together in the latter half of the year when we're all debuted. So please look forward to that. We all match, and it's really cute. So really, really excited for it.
That's so awesome. And that's one of the other cool things that VTubing has brought about. They're just sort of people who have similar artists or riggers, and almost a found family that you refer to them as your sisters, and that's just one of the many, many cool things. So definitely do check out Shirara's sisters, Sylvie and Muga. I know Muga was in the chat for at least a little bit earlier on, and that's about all I have for this evening. So thank you all so much for tuning in this evening. I'm actually I think we're going to raid Takuya Talk when all is said and done. He is another talk show host, and he is actually currently interviewing my guest from last week, Nyaru. So definitely be sure to check him out. I'm going to bring us sort of to the end. I have an end screen because I then upload this to YouTube. So I'm going to go through that, but once the outro has been completed, I will be sending you all over their way, so be sure to say hi to them for us. Again, thank you so much for joining us. That it is just for me, it means a lot to have people join my stream, because I know that, like I said, I'm not a VTuber, but I'm glad that people take a chance on me, both my guests and the viewers. I hope you all enjoyed yourselves. Please follow if you're able to here on Twitter and on Twitch as well. I try to do a show a week, and I know that I have many more fantastic VTubers out there to be able to interview, and I hope that you all continue to support me and Shirara and all of my guests. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I hope everyone has a fantastic rest of their day, a fantastic weekend. I'm Jay, this has been Vtuber Talk, and we will see you next time.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.